If you haven't noticed, I'm on the MSX. And wow, guys, do I have a lot to talk about. A whole bunch to talk about. Let's see, how do I do this? We'll just keep an eye out, make sure there's no fire ants. Yeah. Okay, buddy, I'll be back. DJ and Cindy are over there. Let's see, how do women do this? I don't know. I don't know how they do it. We're just gonna hang it over my shoulder like this. Road's a little wet, just got done raining. Like 20 minutes ago. If you haven't noticed, I'm on the MSX. And wow, guys, do I have a lot to talk about. A whole bunch to talk about. All right, we're gonna pull over here on 45th and get the drone up in the air. I know some of you appreciate drone footage to look at while I'm droning on. And there's gonna be a lot of droning, so yeah, let's get this up. Got the MSX sitting on its handy dandy front kickstand slash nose guard. Sitting there hanging out. All right, so we're gonna bring the Skydio online. I'm just using the beacon again to control it. Not gonna use my phone. Okay, so while the GPS is syncing up here, I guess we can start talking about a few things. Let's start off with, let's see, the most interesting thing. Well, maybe it isn't the most interesting thing, but I bought a new wheel this week. And people are probably like, what, did you buy a Sherman? Did you buy a Sherman? A lot of people have been asking me, did you buy a Sherman? No, I did not. I bought an S18. In case you guys haven't noticed, I am all in on suspension wheels. And I bought a matte black S18, placed the order with E-wheels this week. No idea when it's gonna show up. If I'm lucky, the end of August, but I don't think I'm gonna be lucky. But yeah, I have an S18 that's gonna be joining the stable. But in order for it to join the stable, I had to rearrange the stable a little bit. So I feel fortunate to be out at all right now because Tropical Storm Isaiah, I think it's pronounced Isaiah, I don't know. It's hanging off the east coast of Florida right now. Was a hurricane, got downgraded to a tropical storm yesterday. Luckily, it is probably not going to impact our area all that much. So happy about that. Okay, so like I was saying, I had to make some changes to my wheel inventory. In the course of 2 days, I sold 2 of my wheels. My Gotway Monster and my KingSong 18L, which is really an XL because it has a bigger battery, bigger pedals, all that jazz, and the 2200 watt motor. KingSong, the KingSong went to Canada. It should be arriving in Toronto, Canada next week sometime. And the Monster is going to New York City. The Monster is definitely going to have a rougher life ahead of it than it did with me in flat Florida. It's going to be rolling around New York City. So yeah, very interesting. And it's funny the way I sold them on the EUC forum. And I didn't technically even list the 18L. I listed the Monster on there. Within about 15 minutes, I got my potential seller or buyer contacted me. And in the listing on the EUC forum, I said, oh yeah, and I probably will be selling my 18L as well. I had 2 people contact me that said, oh, well, too bad you sold the Monster, but yeah, what about your KingSong? So yeah, I sold my KingSong without really even listing it. So that's kind of funny. But they're both gone, and I have a lot more space under my desk right now. I keep nervously watching the Skydio. There's these lines that cross the road here, power lines across the road at certain spots, and Skydio's seeing them, but I'm just nervous that it's not going to see some sometime, but so far so good. So I think on Wednesday is when I posted those 3 videos regarding the V11. I was up to like midnight that night getting all that stuff shot and edited. And one of the things that we talked about was the issue that I had with the seemingly bearing noise on the wheel. And I said that, Jason from eWheels was going to take care of me. Ironically, just when I went back to my computer to start editing, I had an email from Jason that said, hey, here's your FedEx label. Send the wheel back to us. So after I got done editing, I had to quick run out to the shed, go get the box of the V11 and pack that all up as well. So I was running around like a madman on Wednesday night. So that wheel is also gone. So I've actually technically lost 3 wheels this week. That wheel is on its way back to eWheels in Arizona. And there's been some very interesting things going on since that occurred. So I've been continuing to look into the whole issue with the bearings on my own. Although I shared all the information I have with Jason, and he in turn shared it with folks at Inmotion. And ironically, I got turned on to the teardown of the V11 that EcoDrift had published. Now, I had seen they had done a video that showed the teardown process with the V11. But then they usually also accompany those teardowns with a blog post where they go very step by step, take high-res pictures, and give their commentary on what they see as they take the wheel apart. I actually got told about that by Melody Cho. She's the one that told me that EcoDrift had that spotted or had that posted on their site. So I went there to go take a look. And let's turn around. So as I was looking through the EcoDrift article, it's actually 2 separate blog posts, I got to the point where they talked about the bearings. And one of the cool things about the V11 is it's the first, to my knowledge, the first production EUC to use a hollow bore motor design. Instead of having an axle that goes through the middle, you have a big hollow bore that is maybe the diameter of, I don't know, a tennis ball maybe, somewhere around there. And it's cool for various reasons. One of the biggest reasons is you don't have to deal with axles anymore, you don't have to deal with tightening up shims anymore, all that kind of shit. So it's cool. When EcoDrift pulled it apart, they immediately red flagged the bearing that was being used. And I don't know that much about bearings, but evidently EcoDrift does. So what these guys noticed right away was the bearing that was used in the V11 is a Z-type bearing, which again, I don't know much about bearings, but I can tell you in a nutshell, basically what that means is the bearing itself is capped with pieces of metal on either side. And from my brief reading I did on the difference between bearings, one of the advantages of that type bearing is it can run at a higher temperature, I guess, and it has less rolling resistance than some other types of bearing. It had a Z-type bearing in it, and this was enough of a red flag to EcoDrift. They immediately went out and bought a set of replacement bearings that they put in their wheel that they tore down. They put in RS bearings. So RS stands for rubber seal. And what an RS bearing has is a rubber seal that caps the bearings, at least on one side, and sometimes on both. And the thought process of using a rubber seal bearing is, yes, it has some more rolling resistance, but it is also more weather tolerant. I did some research into some other EUCs, just tried to determine if other EUCs use RS bearings, and the ones that I did check did seem to use it. And I think the reason is obvious because, when you're riding in rain, like I did last week, I rode in very, very hard rain, and there can be some negative side effects when that happens, obviously. So I actually, passed that information on to Liam from Inmotion, to Jason as well, even though they may have already known that, but I did not, so I passed it along. I was thinking about my situation, with my issue that I had. And it's quite possible that, if I would have taken some different precautions, after the wheel was soaked, if I didn't just slap it on a stand and let it sit there for a week while it was so wet, I might not have had that issue at all. I could have potentially, maybe once I got home, I could have just lifted it up and let it free spin just to make sure all the water was outside of the bearing area. I could have maybe taken my my leaf blower and blown air in there, I guess. But typically, I've never had to do that with wheels in the past, so I didn't think about it. But there are scenarios where it might not have even been an issue for me. So anyway, the moral of the story is basically Inmotion is going to be making a change, in part due to what I discovered, I guess, where they're going to be installing RS bearings, rubber steel bearings, on the V11s. And the assumption I have is if someone does have a problem with one of the earlier units, they will replace the bearings or replace the motor with one that has that bearing pre-installed. I'm not sure how that would work, but that's my assumption. So my wheel, like I said, is on its way back to e-wheels. Unfortunately, I'm going to probably be without a V11 for a while, because I told Jason, I said, well, I would just prefer to wait until the motors with that upgraded bearing are available. So that's what I'm going to do. Who knows how long it's going to take. So I'm going to have to be very patient, and that's part of the reason that I ordered an S18, thinking that maybe the S18 might show up before my V11 comes back. So need to have that suspension wheel, man. All right, battery's getting low. Let's slam the sucker. All right, let's get it over here, though. It's a pain to get it to come to you. All right, let's go. It's always just a little bit hair raising to catch the thing when you got four blades moving at quite a rapid pace, but haven't hurt myself yet. So yeah, that's my update on the V11. If you are not in a situation where you are riding in the rain, and like I said, that rain that I rode in was torrential, crazy rain. Maybe just slightly wet roads isn't a big deal. But if you're not riding in rain on a regular basis, then you might be fine. Me, there's always that possibility that I could get stuck in rain, especially on a longer ride, especially in Florida. So I'll feel better just waiting until the modified V11 is available. But that's just me. Let's put that in here. As always, I appreciate Jason being very responsive about it. And Inmotion, Inmotion obviously recognized that that's a potential issue, and they're going to do something about it. That's better than just sitting on your hands about it. So I do appreciate that as well. And it does, as I said in my video from this week, what am I doing here? There we go. Okay. As I said during my video this week, it doesn't change how much I love the V11. The V11 is a really a fantastic wheel, and it's I can see it being my primary wheel that I'm grabbing. Unless I need to go really fast for a really long period of time, then I'd be grabbing something like this. But that situation doesn't come up very often. The V11 is kind of awesome. Let's go. My freaking knee, man. I worked so much yesterday. I was on the go from like 7:30 till 7 o'clock, more or less, 7 p.m. And the end result is my freaking knee. My knee, it's weird. It doesn't feel bad to walk on right now, but it does not feel good. And let's off-road a little bit. I got the tire pressure low enough on this that it shouldn't be too brutal. So my knee, it doesn't feel that bad walking. Like I don't have a horrendous limp right now, but sleeping last night, at least a half a dozen times I woke up just from pain in my knee. Normally when I sleep on my back with like a pillow under my legs. And I absolutely could not lay on my back in that position. My knee was killing me. So, this is bumpier than I thought. So the only way I could sleep is if I rolled onto a side, then it didn't bother me, but that isn't a way that I typically will stay asleep that long. So yeah, not fun. Every time I think I'm getting somewhere with my knee pain, it's one step forward, two steps back, it seems. I've never gone back this road. I wonder how far it goes. If I had a suspension wheel, I would go all the way back. But I don't, so I don't think I will. Plus, as you saw at the beginning, DJ's at the house, so I don't really want to be gone too long while he's there, because I don't get to see the little guy very much. So we got to get back to see the DJ. But I will come back down this road whenever I get my next suspension wheel. S18 or V11, whichever gets to me first. So some people may ask, Duff, do you have like any regret over selling the Monster and the KingSong 18XL? I have some You know, I had some really good memories on both those wheels. The Monster was actually the wheel that Cindy and I took on our Northeast road trip. It was the Monster and my old V3 M Super, and something's biting my freaking calf. Mosquitoes. What the heck, it's the middle of the day. Mosquitoes are supposed to be asleep. So yeah, we took that up on our Northeastern road trip, that and then our M Super, and it was ridden all over the place. It was ridden in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. It was ridden in Boston. It was ridden in Maine, all over the place. The Monster also was the only wheel that I could ride seated somewhat comfortably. I'm hoping the V11 will be able to do that once I get the official Inmotion seat. As far as the KingSong 18L goes, it was my first KingSong wheel I ever bought. I put the big 1554 watt-hour battery pack in it, the big pedals. I swapped the 2200 watt motor, so that's a fine wheel. The gentleman in Toronto that's buying that, he currently has an Inmotion V8. So the 18XL will be a nice upgrade for him, and he's very excited about it, so it's a win-win. So to answer the question, I don't really have any regret about selling the wheels. You know, I have a little nostalgia, you know, little twinges of nostalgia, but it's all good. I'm very excited about both the V11 and the S18. And who knows, there might be a third wheel in there. Who knows, but it's too early to say. Okay, I've crossed over. This is the limestone road that actually leads to the swamp. The swamp is that way. I'm not going to the swamp today, but just so you know where we are. Okay, so I'm trying to think if I covered everything. I bought an S18, I sold my Monster, I sold my KingSong 18XL, my V11 was shipped back to e-wheels. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, fifth thing. After I posted my 16X video last week, I got several inquiries, people saying, hey, what's that on the front of your 16X? Looks like a bumper. It is. It's something that I designed a long time ago. Originally, I thought it was going to be a bumper slash kickstand. It's not, because any of you that have a 16X realize that if you just rotate it forward, you already have a kickstand built into a 16X. So it does not function as a kickstand, but it does function as a nose guard. It mounts over the light and the power switches and the USB ports to protect them. And evidently some people were interested in them. I never put them on the store, so I do have them up in the store now. I think they're like 15 bucks, something like that. I have 3 of them in stock. Unlike the stuff for the MSX, you cannot mount these, at least I haven't found a way to mount these with tape, because the surface that you're mounting to is that rubberized surface on the 16X. Tape just doesn't stick for shit on there, at least not for me. Maybe someone knows of another tape-like material, double-sided tape material you could use, but what I have does not work. So it has 2 holes. You have to pop little holes in the front, and then it would come with wood screws that you can attach it. So that is the way that the stand will come to you, or the nose guard will come to you. I really need to practice this. I don't know if that was on camera or not, if you could see that. I am so awkward trying to mount and dismount with my right leg on the wheel. And to be quite honest with you, the way that my freaking knee on the left, because usually my left leg is my leg that I have on the wheel to mount. Mounting and dismounting freaking hurts, man. So I really need to practice more becoming bi-footed when it comes to my EUC skills. Because I think physically it's going to demand it. It's weird, there's just like muscles that you use to do this that I just don't have trained on my right side. It feels like I have a weakness there. And we'll let the car go by, because that would be the prudent thing to do. Oh boy. You know I'm all about being prudent, right? Just like anything, if I did some concentrated practice here, which I don't really have time to do a whole bunch of it right now, but it's like anything. Do it more and it becomes easier. That didn't feel good. Yeah, I feel torque on the side of my right leg that just doesn't feel great. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, man, it feels like I'm gonna snap my freaking calf. Oof. All right, we'll try to do right-footed mount and dismount the rest of the ride. Okay, I can clearly see some areas of rain up ahead here. Hopefully I'm able to get back to the house prior to them getting there. Like I said, just for context with my V11 ride, when I rode it in the rain, that, like I said during the ride, I believe that was the hardest rain I've ever ridden in with any PEV. So, you know, it's, you know, EUCs are supposed to be water resistant, not waterproof. That being said, I think the change that Inmotion's making is one for the better. So, and I can't wait to get suspension back under my legs. All right, let's do a stop and start here. Let's just see how awkward it looks. I want to tip it left just by muscle memory. And when I mount, I'm almost back to my hop on, hop off days. I don't feel like I can control it smoothly with my right leg and just kind of ride one-footed for a split second. Feels like I got to get that other leg on there right away. I think it's just you know, the muscle development in this leg isn't there. Just a reminder, if you like the nose guard that's on my MSX or the rear guard that's on there, both are available at eucarmy.com. Both of them also, if you have a 3D printer, you have access to a 3D printer. Both of them have the links in their item description to the files on Thingiverse, so you can print them yourself if you want to. Oh, and I also did put the file for the 16X nose guard. I put that in the description as well, so you can print that one yourself as well if you want to. We'll see how this week upcoming works out, but I might throw a live stream up. You know, there's lots of various subjects we could be talking about right now, so might be throwing a live stream up sometime this week. Tune into my channel to find out. But no, it won't be Wednesday, Cobra. Don't worry, I won't step on your stream. It will not be Wednesday evening. All right, looks like we're going to make it home without getting wet. It's a good thing. Very quick chicken fence update. It's now been over a week. Chickens have been outside free ranging all week, and knock on wood, so far so good. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Back at home, safe at home, and yeah, lots to talk about, huh? I mean, I know I normally talk a lot, but I had more substance today, maybe. Depending on your point of view, I think I did. If you guys found this video interesting, entertaining, please give it a big thumbs up. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please think about subscribing. And if you're going to subscribe, you can always hit the notify bell, which will notify you of all upcoming videos. Over there, up there, something like that. Feel free to leave your comments, suggestions, ideas, and thoughts below. What do you think about me selling those wheels? What do you think about me being okay waiting to get my V11 back, even though I love it so much? And buying the S18. I'm excited to be quite honest with you, because selling the Monster and the 18L have now completely funded the S18 purchase and then some, so it's good to know. So that's all I have for you for now, guys. Sweat my ass off. Hope the little bit of your weekend that's left is good. And until next time, duck right now. Baby, hello.
The little guy opened the door all by himself.
Which door? Bedroom?
From the bedroom out.
DJ,
he
say
something. Like he knew you were here before he even heard the garage.
Say hi, buddy.
Oh, are we filming?
Yeah.
Daddy's home. Look at, he sees all the rainbow.
Hi, buddy.
He just wants you to hold him.
I know.